nutshell, give you a presentation of what to expect, what your child should expect from Fisher Middle School next year as an incoming sixth grader. While I was out there, yes, I did see ex-students, ex-classmates of mine, everything else, so I've been here too long. I have been here 29 years in this building, taught here and then in administration. So I've seen the transformation from being a junior high, just 8-9, to a junior high 7-8-9, to a middle school 6-7-8. All right, and kind of seen everything. We were very pleased with what we did 2 years ago. So your children will be on the third year of a massive schedule change that we did 2 years ago. It has been to our advantage, to the benefit of the students, to the curriculum, and along those lines. And again, we'll get into that as we go through. But again, we just wanted to say welcome and have a preview. Your children from Parkway Lore and Antile will get the opportunity. They will come over as a fifth grade class. They will also get a similar but different type of presentation. They will get tours. We have some of the sixth grade students that will also speak with them and take them on the tours. So a lot of this, what you're getting, we're kind of putting it at the adult level, and then we will, I believe the tours are after the spring break, so in April, the fifth graders will be coming over. Each school comes over at a different time, and we get to answer their questions. So if you actually have some questions after you leave here tonight, ship it in with your kid for April, and we'll still be answering it going from there. All right. I myself am Ms. Brower, building principal. With me, I have Mr. Dwyer, the assistant principal. I have Mr. Bonner, Dean of Students, Coordinator of Safety. Ms. Freeman, Dean of Students, Coordinator of Safety. And Jennifer Citarella, she is going to be the sixth grade guidance counselor next year. Now I say sixth grade guidance counselor. She currently right now is working with our eighth grade. What we have done the past few years is a dean and a counselor follow the students for all 3 years. They will be able to, I can say it as a building principal, I see it as an advantage. I will let them speak to it when they get up to speak as far as what we see the advantage is, as far as getting to know the students, getting to know the families, getting to actually watch them grow over 3 years. So Ms. Freeman will be the dean for the sixth grade, Ms. Citarella will be the counselor for the sixth grade. Does not mean by any ends that Mr. Bonner possibly won't have some interactions. Mr. Dwyer, myself, we all do the lunch duties. We all are in the main office and can take care of situations, and that goes for guidance as well. If Ms. Citarella is tied up with something, there's Mr. Velarde, there's Ms. Adams. So while we say Ms. Freeman and Ms. Citarella are who will be their main, believe me, that's not all they're getting. All right, they're getting a little bit of everything. All right. Our mission, we call ourselves the Fisher family here. We would like to think that you are now going to be part of that Fisher family. It is not just us as the teachers, administration, custodial, kitchen. It is all the kids and the parents also involved, the board members, whomever it may be. And we expect all staff members to be responsible, accountable for academic, social, emotional, everything about the child. We are about the whole child. All right? We are about the whole child. All right? A lot of this can be found on our webpage. I'm not expecting you to sit here. I'm not going to just read it to you. And they're nicely filming this for us on Channel 19 as well. All right, but what we do have a challenging and relevant curriculum. It is following, the core, Common Core. High expectations for every member of the Fisher family. It means we have high expectations of you. All right? If we are shipping that homework home and having the students write it down in that agenda book, our mission to you is to make sure that you're either checking our homework page, checking the agenda book, and making sure that you're sending Johnny or Susie back in with their homework the next day. I've told numerous people over numerous years, I can't wait to the point that I find where the invisible black hole is in this building. That invisible black hole is where everyone's homework is somewhere found, even from back in the day in the 70s when I went to school here. All right? I know you as a parent, there's going to be at least once in the 3 years your child's here. Howard, I know it. I sat over Johnny. He did it. His name was on it. My initials are even on it. What do you mean he didn't turn it in? He didn't turn it in. It is somewhere in this invisible black hole that I am destined to find before I retire. All right? So that is high expectations for everything. And of course,
evening, everyone. My name is Mr. Dwyer. This is my 9th year currently in the building, and I truly love working here at Fisher Middle School. We have an outstanding faculty and staff, and I also have a special perspective. Not only do I work here, but I also live in Ewing Township. I have 3 kids who are at Parkway Elementary School, and next year I will actually have my first child here at Fisher Middle School, and I've been looking forward to it. I've been excited for him to come to Fisher Middle School. I'm not quite sure he's excited. He's already asked for a cell phone because of cases of emergencies I've gone over. I'm not sure about that. You'll find my office just fine. But really glad you guys came out tonight. We want to make sure that as you transition from being elementary school parents to middle school parents, that you keep that connection with us. We love parents who are involved and stay involved. We want to collaborate and work with you and make sure that partnership is still there, because 6th grade is different from 5th grade. There are some great things about middle school. We're going to go through some of those things so that you become middle school experts. Here's the first change, our hours of operation. You'll see that the school hours are 8:05 to 3:05. Your students will, your sons and daughters will not be excited by the first part, but they'll love being home by 3:05. You'll also see that our actual start time is 8:25 with our pledge and morning announcements. We do have a breakfast program that starts at 7:45. We do ask that the earliest you drop your children off to school would be 7:45, and that is for the breakfast program. We do offer only an afternoon extended day program, and that is, as you see, 3:05 to 6 p.m. every day. I should have said, I'm sure along the way tonight you'll have some questions. If you could just hold your questions and think of some great questions to stump Ms. Freeman and things like that, that'd be great. Just hold them until the very end and we'll take all your questions. So here's an overview of our schedule features. Again, Ms. Brower mentioned 2 years ago, we completely overhauled our schedule. There are some great things that we've done that we're very, very proud of and that the students really appreciate as well. We have a daily homeroom period every day. We start our morning with homeroom. The kids, I would say about 90% of our students love the next feature, which is a daily physical education class. It really gives the students a chance to move around, to be middle school students, and to get some of that energy out, and to also learn new activities and sports. So that is a daily class that they really enjoy. We also have daily enrichments that follow an alternating A-B cycle. I'll explain a little bit more about that as we move on. Grade level lunches. One of the fears of most becoming middle school parents is my little 6th grader going to be with those big, awful, mean 8th graders? Hardly ever. We have separate lunches. 6th grade actually has the second lunch of the day that starts at 11:24. So that's when they'll have their lunch every day. 7th grade has first lunch. 8th grade has last lunch. So they're not with each other. They have their own separate wing, the 6th graders. And if you're interested, we'll be doing a tour at the end of our presentation. We'll show you where they will have most of their classes. So the only time they will see a 7th and 8th grader is after school if they're involved in different clubs, sports, and activities, or sometimes walking through the hallways. So please rest assured. We have a block schedule within a 9-period day. That's a little bit challenging to get your head around, but there are 9 bells that ring throughout the day. However, your child will only visit 5 classes a day and a lunch. 3 core classes, a PE, an enrichment, and a lunch. But that's surrounded by a 9-period day. Let's move on. Student selection for enrichments. This was a huge change for us, and it's a lot of work, but we are glad to offer it. We want to give students a choice as far as what they want to study for enrichments. We want to make sure that they're invested in the course that they select. So when your children come for their visitation day, they're going to bring home an enrichment selection form. And we're going to have a deadline, I believe the deadline is going to be April 30th, to try to get that back to us so that we can begin our scheduling process. They'll choose their top 4 choices and 2 alternates for their enrichments. And we really want them to have a role in picking their courses, and we want to do our best to honor the courses that they select. And we also have an extensive program for struggling students. Students who need support, we indeed want to support. Overwhelming slide, but I do want to go through it so you can begin to see what John Smith's day might look like. As I said, starts with a homeroom. Then John Smith is one of our humanities students for English Language Arts. As a 6th grader, he's going to have English Language Arts, period 1. Then there'll be a bell that rings 41 minutes into the class. He will then go to his PE class every day. What did I do? What did I do wrong?
That's 7th grade, Mr. Dwyer.
Period.
Ah!
1. Period 2, the bell rings.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, thank you, Ms. Miller. I appreciate that. As I was saying, I'm in park mode. I'm really sorry. John will have English Language Arts for a full block. There will be a bell that rings. John's going to stay right where he is for a full 83 minutes of his English Language Arts class. 83 minutes.
They're fine with it.
They love it. They love it, especially science labs. They really enjoy it a lot. So that's 83 minutes. He'll have English Language Arts. Then we have a bell that rings. He'll go to PE. Then he'll go to his math class, which is interrupted 41 minutes later he'll travel to lunch. Then he'll travel back to math class. And now here's another tricky part. After math, during first semester, John has social studies during periods 7 and 8, a full block. Semester 1. Semester 2, he will travel to science. So it's kind of like elementary school where they do 1 and 3, 2 and 4. We do a full semester of social studies and science. Then, John's last period today, on A day, John is in band. Band is a full year course. Orchestra is a full year course. Then on B day, although John is a great English Language Arts student, he struggles a little bit in math. So for math, he has a Tier 3 math course. This is one of those courses that we have for struggling students. Every other day, John would have this very small group math course for 41 minutes with no more than 8 other students. And we see this as a great tool to help some of our struggling students in acquiring basic skills and some foundations. Ms. Miller, unless I forgot something, do you have a great question?
They don't understand what humanities meant.
Humanities is our ACE. ACE. So I forget what ACE really stands for, but ACE is our humanities, and then we have gifted and talented math, which is AIM. And then on B day, we have healthy living for John. So that would be John's day. One other reason the students love this. They come home and they only potentially have 3 subjects of homework. It used to be, we used to have 5 subjects every day for possible homework, so the students really like this schedule change. This is a change, and our students are okay with it. Hopefully you will be okay with it. They do change classes. I would encourage you, before you get worried about them changing classes, wait until after you take the tour. If you're still worried, come and talk to me. Because you'll see on the tour, pretty much their traveling consists of moving from about 5 yards from one class to the next, to the next. Their furthest distance they would travel is to get to one of their enrichment classes. The first week, their teachers walk them there. And so they get a tour of the building when they come in April. They get another tour of the building the first day of school. Then they get walked through their PE and enrichment over the first couple of days. By the end of the second week of school, they know the school a little bit better than even Ms. Brower, who's been here 29 years. Not really, but
I can still convince them there's a pool somewhere.
that's right. But we do change classes. We provide, and we want to provide, very purposely, opportunities, obviously, for academic strength, social skills. We believe wholeheartedly that when a student comes to the cafeteria, part of that should be a social experience. That's why we have some differences than elementary school. I'll save that for Ms. Freeman when she talks about that. Obviously, middle school is a time where we want to make sure that we are securing their emotional growth as well as cooperating with you to instill responsibility with our students, your children. Curriculum, as I said, our core classes, every day your student will have language arts and math. By semester, they will either have science or social studies. Within language arts, we do have humanities. We also offer Tier 2 support and Tier 3 support. The Tier 3 support is in our enrichment course. Tier 2 is we actually have 2 language arts teachers within one classroom. And it's just for that language arts block that would have 2 teachers to encourage and help build those skills with these students. We offer the same thing in math, except we call it honors instead of humanities. And again, every day, a student will have physical education. 3/4 of the year will be PE, 1/4 will be health. Overwhelming slide, but I want to give you this as a visual image for you. This is a list of every single enrichment course that we offer here at Fisher Middle School. Obviously, what's important is in this column for your 6th grade students. Before you leave today, we actually have a brochure that Ms. Brower is displaying for you. The reason we didn't give it to you now is because we didn't want you flipping through it. We wanted you to make sure you're looking at me. So we will make sure that you get that before you leave. High academic standards. We have many, many different clubs and sports. We love our students to be involved in countless activities because we believe that when a student's involved, they excel. One of the requirements is, though, that a student needs to have a 70 average or higher. With the exception of homework club, we also have an incredible program called Failure is Not an Option, which we hold 6 different sessions after school for any student who's struggling in the area of math, science, language arts, or social studies. And you'll learn more about that as time goes by. We have honors math, humanities, English language arts, and the students' favorite required summer reading and math packets. That does not go away. That remains here at Fisher Middle School. And now, without further ado, your dean, Ms. Freeman.
Good evening.
Just not.
No matter how many years we do it, they don't want to do it. I don't like doing that and talking. I like to just talk. Good evening, everyone. My name is Erica Freeman. This is my 14th year in this district, my 14th year at Fisher. I started out as a 6th grade teacher and then eventually transitioned to dean. I love what I do. And as Ms. Brower mentioned earlier, the advantages of following our students for 3 years are tremendous because we literally see, we get to see your babies transform. They come in, sometimes coming up to my knee, and by the time they get to 8th grade, they're meeting me at my shoulder. They come in just really young, and then they mature. And so, and it also gives us an opportunity to get to know you as a family, for us to build a relationship. We all know that it takes a village to raise our children. So as you see, there's a lot of things that are similar, but then there are a lot of differences. Another difference that we're going to deal with is lunch with friends. Now, your babies love the fact that they get to have lunch with all of their friends. They get to sit wherever they want. They do still are able to keep money on their account. You're familiar with that system, correct? But you get more choices here at Fisher than you get at the elementary school. The PIN number that they're using now will be the same PIN number that they have, so they won't have to worry about a new one. Now, we do sit by team for safety purposes. We need to be able to locate your children right away in a particular cafeteria. So we don't cross teams during lunches unless there's like a special activity or something. Ryan's Garden, there is a courtyard outside. We don't do recess. That's one of the downsides of middle school. There is no structured recess time. However, when the weather breaks, we will allow some of our children to eat lunch in the Ryan's Garden. And this year, we started SOAR activities. You'll hear a little bit about SOAR in a little bit. But on Wednesdays, we have SOAR bucks. So when children are performing well, meeting our expectations, they earn SOAR bucks. And they will use those SOAR bucks that are in store to purchase And this is all taking place during their lunchtime. So your children want to look forward to SOAR activities. Physical education, far different, so pay attention. Your children are going to need a black, gray, or white shirt, a pair of athletic shorts or athletic pants. They are going to have to make sure that their gym attire cannot be their everyday, their class attire. They must have a separate change of clothes. Because with middle school, they get a little older, and you know the rest. What's also important is that they have a combination lock, because your child will actually have 2 lockers. They'll have their general locker where they house their book bag and their coats, but then they'll also have their PE locker or their gym locker where they'll house their gym clothes. And you all are going to need to buy them a combination lock over the summer and make sure, and Tal, you guys have lockers, so you're used to it. But in the other schools, I'm not sure if you have lockers, so you want to make sure that you start having them practice over the summer with their combination lock. No keys, because we need to be able to get into them as well. And please, please, make sure you ask your children to bring home their gym clothing at least at the end of each week, because it can become pretty tough inside that locker room. And clean out those lockers. Now I need to introduce to you my partner. This is Miss Cinderella, and as mentioned earlier, she'll be our 6th grade counselor for next year.
Hi, I'm Jen Cinderella, the 6th grade counselor. I wanted to kind of build on what Ms. Freeman and Ms. Brown said. It is awesome to go through the years with your children. Not only do I become close with them, but I also become close with the parents. And it's more comfortable being able to follow someone along and being able to know them and being able to talk to them, and me kind of really having a better handle on your child instead of going from year to year figuring out, okay, what is their personality like, what are their grades like. So it's kind of sometimes I feel like I'm an extra touch for the teachers as well, because I can kind of see, okay, if they were a straight A student in 6th grade and their grades are going down, okay, well, what's going on? And I can bring it to the attention of the teachers, or the teachers sometimes can come to me and say, okay, is this their normal behavior, or how they're academically, do they usually perform? So we're going to kind of just go through the guidance department and consultation. That's whether I consult with the teachers about the student, I can consult with the parents about what's going on with your student, or with your child, and just know that there's gonna be a lot of changes in the middle school. I have a lot of parents calling me saying, what's going on, their attitude's changing, and it's all normal. But anytime you have a question or you feel as though something isn't right, you can always contact me or anyone else. The crisis intervention, obviously, is if something serious is going on, whether it's a family matter, whether it's a school matter. The door's always open for your child to come and talk to me and figure out how we can solve the problem together, and with the family as well. Coordination, that could be if you're familiar with the INRS protocol for the elementary school, if the child is something academically is going on, or emotionally or behaviorally. What happens is I don't coordinate, but I'm one of the people who are on a team who coordinate and come together, and we talk about how we can put interventions into place to help your child. Mediation, I do a lot of it in middle school. It's where there's a lot of ups and downs with friendships, and who likes who and who doesn't like who. So when that happens, we like to have the students come together and learn how to talk to one another and work it out, instead of going behind each other's backs and gossiping and all that. And then there's the counseling component. Sometimes there are students who like to come to me at least once a week. I keep them for 10 to 15 minutes, and we go over issues that might be going on in the home, or just something that they're feeling within themselves. Grades, again, that's coordinating with the teacher, seeing what's going on, seeing how we can be successful, working with Mr. Dwyer to maybe have them go into the Failure Not an Option program and see how we can improve their grades. I do lunch bunches. That's the same as in elementary school and the younger schools. A lot of times it's surprising how many middle schoolers want lunch bunch. They want to come in, and a lot of times it's because they want to have the lunch with their friends on the other team. But it's a way for me to get to know them and to get to know their personalities, and it's a lot of fun. We can play games or we just talk. And then again, advice it goes along with counseling. Sometimes, it's having them try to understand themselves, and sometimes it's me just offering, advice as an older sometimes it doesn't work for the student having a binder here, a binder here, a binder here. You know, some students, they need just one binder for one day. So it's basically seeing what that child needs for themselves and coming up with a solution how to help them be organized. It's very important. I think Mr. Dwyer and Ms. Brower stated to go on the homework hotline, which is posted at 4 o'clock each day. 4 o'clock each day. You go to the student's, your child's teams on the website, and you'll find the homework listed. And it's really important because a lot of times, well, I don't say a lot of times, but sometimes they don't write in their agenda the homework, so this is a backup. So they can never have, an excuse, oh, I don't know it, no one knows it. Yes, you do, because you can go on to the homework hotline. It's important to always make time for homework. It is a part of their grade. I also tell them it's a way to help them study for tests that are coming up, so they always want to be on top of it. Make sure that when there is a big project that you break it into chunks. Just don't do it the night before. I mean, that becomes very overwhelming. So if you know 2 weeks in advance you have a big project due, just start it little by little, and this way it won't be so overwhelming. And then make sure the night before that your child has everything in their backpack, so they're not racing that morning to get everything in and late for school. So again, if you have any questions, any concerns, please feel free to call me. Open door policy, all the guidance counselors do, and I look forward to working with your child. Thanks.
This face right here is the face that some of your babies will give you when you ask them about their homework assignment. Homework? What homework, Mom? And the face you're going to give back to them is, you have homework. As Ms. Cinderella just mentioned, every night it is posted or uploaded onto our homework hotline. Every night. Your child really should not be engaged in homework assignments more than 2 hours, and that's still a lot, but they should not. If you ever get to a point where your kid is spending 3 and 4 hours trying to complete a homework assignment, then that's when you need to get online, write us an email, write the teachers an email, and just make sure that you communicate those concerns with their teacher. As Ms. Cinderella said, it's linked. The homework is not just random assignments. It is usually tied in with what was taught that day, or could potentially on occasion be a prep to what they're going to encounter on the following day. So it's all linked together. And as mentioned, it is on the website every day. So you can print it up before you even get home, before the kid gets home, and they can tell you, I don't have any homework. Yes, you do. Ms. Miller says you have to do workbook page 22, and you can read it down and let them know what they need to do. Keep calm. We are here to help. Yes, there are going to be a lot of changes. At points, it can be overwhelming. But we are all here to help and help our children work through it, help your children work through it. Yes, this is a large school. They're going to, be overwhelmed. It's huge. I was overwhelmed when I started working here, but we keep working together. Yes, they may be concerned about running into an 8th grader that is 6 feet tall, but we'll get through it. No one is stuffing anybody in lockers around here. Don't have to worry about it. But it's important for you to convey that message to your children to keep calm. But in order for them to keep calm, they have to see you calm. The teachers are, tougher because as you get older, the expectations are higher. So they'll learn. But our 6th grade teachers are phenomenal with getting our children adjusted. They don't just go full force. They really help them transition into the middle school life. Some of them, as mentioned earlier, are concerned about never seeing some of their best friends, and that's where you hook up with your counselors. There will be opportunities. Make sure your children get involved, because those will be also other opportunities where they can interact with some of their friends who may not be on their team. More teachers getting in trouble. Just tell them you don't want to get in trouble. Tell them you don't want to meet. If you coming into my office, it needs to be for positive circumstances. Just tell your children that. And they don't have to worry about ISS or OSS. Keep it positive. Make sure that they know SOAR. Make sure that they are being safe, taking ownership of their actions, that they're being great achievers, and they're being respectful. And they won't have to worry about any trouble. And yes, they will have more teachers. So this is where you all can start showing them or start having those dialogues or discussions about having multiple teachers, which means different personalities, which could mean different styles. And so we got to start having those conversations now with our children so that they can be prepared to deal with the different personalities and how to respond and how to adjust and be flexible, because it is a little more responsibility when we get to
said, I started here 12 years ago. I was a science and language arts teacher. We were on the same team and made the transition to the office about 7 years ago. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the activities and extracurricular things that your student can get involved in when they enter middle school. There are many clubs and activities that you can join. We have a late bus for them to take the ride home on if they are part of a club, and I'll address the late bus in a minute. Many great opportunities after school: the homework club, Odyssey of the Mind. We have stage band in which tryouts are required. SAT prep, the science bowl, and the bowling club, which I always try to visit once a year. It's a lot of fun. So it's highly recommended that they get involved. Mr. Dwyer mentioned it earlier. Makes for a very well-rounded student and taking pride in the school that they attend. So they'll seek out the activities in the beginning of the year and get a feel for when those are addressed.
Sorry, commercial time. You'll see here we have Annie Jr. This is our first time ever having a musical at Fisher Middle School. April 16, 17, 18, I believe. Please come see our students. Tickets are really affordable, but they are going quickly. So please, thank you for the commercial.
Okay, for many of your children who do participate in athletics, whether it be through doing rec programs or travel programs or something like that, this would be the first opportunity they have a chance to participate for Fisher Middle School or for a scholastic team in which they are required to maintain a 70 average and above, and represent Fisher, to wear the red and the white, to have the red and white jersey on, and represent our teams. We take a lot of pride at Fisher in the success of our athletes and how they transcend up into the high school level. Just to note a few things here, the boys soccer team was undefeated this fall. Our girls basketball team has been undefeated for 3 years in a row. Our boys were also undefeated this year. We always put together a very strong wrestling program, and in the spring we offer softball and baseball. I didn't see that listed up there. Oh yeah, that's
It's
it.
invisible, it's with the homework, it's in the black holes somewhere.
And our track program usually has about 175 to 200 students as members of that, and it's just a great program to belong to. I've had the privilege to coach for this district. I coached wrestling for 9 years and baseball for 6, and it's quite an honor to coach with many great coaches that we offer at the middle school. I'm going to bring Mr. Dwyer in here because he has become somewhat the professional of the physical form, and it's ever changing, and I really want him to allow you to listen to this information.
So I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. We have simplified the process this year, so it is a lot easier. The most important thing is do not get your child's physical until after July 1st. That's my advice. The physical is still good for 1 calendar year. So I know insurance can be, well, he can't go until X date or Y date. If you can control it, make sure it's after July 1st. It just makes it easier, making them eligible for every single sport that they might want to try out for. Next important thing, the athletic packet is long. Please make sure when you turn it in, it is complete. Dates need to be on there. Student signature, where it says student signature. Make sure it's complete. Once it's complete, make yourself a copy just for your records. It pains me to see a student want to try out for a sport. It's their day to try out, and there's one missing signature, and the student will not be able to try out. It's just really frustrating, so please make sure when you turn it in, it is 100% complete. If your child is going for a second or third sport, because they can play one sport each season, we've made that process a lot easier where you only have to update 4 sheets, I believe, instead of turning the whole packet in again. So please make sure you get your physical, make sure it's 100% complete, and if they are trying out for an additional sport, make sure you turn in those 4 pages that need to be done again.
Mr. Dwyer did mention the word tryouts. So this is for the sports listed up there: boys and girls soccer, field hockey, cheerleading. There's tryouts for those. Basketball, wrestling. We take everybody that wants to get involved, just like track. And there's tryouts for baseball, basketball, and softball. So there's usually a lot of students that try out, and we welcome as many as possible. Transportation. This will be slightly different. We have about 23 buses that arrive here each and every day. So at the end of the day, it gets a little hectic in the beginning, but they'll be fine. They'll figure this out within 2 days. When they come out of the 6th grade hallway or anywhere exiting the building, there will be a board posted with all of the bus numbers in the order in which they arrive at the school. And that image, just so you get that in your head, will start all the way down by the baseball softball field, and it will extend all the way out to Lower Ferry Road. That's how long the line is of the buses. So they have to visually see where their bus is in the line. We have little markers throughout the way so they know where to exit. And as long as they're checking those boards, it is a great system to have.
They are loaded in 9 minutes and out. 900 plus students. Organized chaos to the max.
Late buses arrive at 4:15. So if you are part of an activity or a club, you can take a late bus. However, for sporting events and practices and things like that, generally practices last to 5:30, and sporting events can finish somewhere around 6 o'clock depending on the event. And that would be all parent pickup. And one of my favorite times of the month is at the end of the month when I get to hand out a beautiful wooden engraved plaque to students who have been honored by their teachers to be the student of the month for that team each and every month. We honor one male and one female student each month from each team, and they get recognized at the end of the year as well, an invitation to a Rita's Ice Cream Social or Rita's Water Ice Social, and get a very nice plaque at the end of the year. Very, very favorite time for me.
So,
Back to Ms. Freeman.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bonner mentioned to you all of the extracurricular activities and sporting events. And when we looked at our data, the children who were involved in those extracurricular activities and or sports are the children who typically are on our honor roll. So we encourage you to make sure that your babies are involved and a part of this community. It keeps them focused, it keeps them out of trouble, it keeps them goal-oriented. Now, our honor roll students, we're blessed because, or fortunate because, the Credit Union of New Jersey sponsors a grant for us, and it's called the Smart Kids Rule in Ewing. And that grant allows us to publicly recognize our children who perform well academically, behaviorally, and socially. So 3 marking periods, we have these recognition assemblies where there's either a guest speaker or motivational video, and we acknowledge and highlight the students who have made honor roll status, students who've been nominated as good citizens. They're usually given a gift, a little token of appreciation. That grant also allows us to recognize the families of the children at the end of the school year. So again, we're all about publicly acknowledging our children who are doing well academically. Everybody say SOAR. Safety, ownership, achievement, respect. June 25th, I need you to start drilling your children, because by the time they walk into this building, I want them to already know it. These are the 4 virtues, the 4 rules that govern this building: safety, ownership, achievement, and respect. Whether it's in the classroom, the school bus, the commute home, the gymnasium, the cafeteria, the main office, they follow these 4 rules, I promise you, they will have a successful year here. They follow these 4 rules, they will get SOAR bucks. Look like currency. No, you cannot use these at the Walmart or Target, but you can use them at our school store. Our school store is equipped with all kinds of school supplies. Yes, I said it's school supplies. They use our SOAR bucks to buy school supplies. Things such as folders, pencils, pens, locker trinkets, all kinds of cutesy things. In addition, these SOAR bucks have a spot where they can put their name on them and enter them in a raffle. And this month, at the end of this month, we have 2 things going up: a Target gift card and a New Jersey Devils, some form of paraphernalia. So we really try to keep it interesting. We usually get these things through donations. So if you decide you want to donate some things to our SOAR raffle, feel free, give me a call. We'll gladly take it. So again, start driving home. SOAR, safety, ownership, achievement, and respect. SOAR's for the Eagles. You guys make that connection, right? All right. SOAR. Any other? All right, I'm back. I feel like I've been on the sidelines for a while, and that's fine. Do I not have a wonderful staff? Cheers. All right, now,
show you the webpage, what to expect. Once or twice here, we've mentioned teams. The two teams at the 6th grade level are the Endeavor team and are the Discovery team. We used to, again, change. We used to have 3 teams per grade level. We've gone to 2. All right, so along those lines there. But the Ewing website, Genesis, we are going to encourage you. We use this very much so, as well as even the high school using it more. So it would be to your advantage to sign on to the parent portal. That would be something that you can do. Check with us over the summer or definitely at back to school night. We have the sign-up forms. You can go right on to Genesis, sign on. Thus, not only can you go on to the website to get that homework so that when Johnny comes home and you can say, yeah, really no homework, like Ms. Freeman said, throw it in their face. You can also sit there and say, what's with that D you got the other day on that math quiz? What do you mean, Mom? Well, because you'll be able to see your grades, all right? By signing on to Genesis, you can go into your child's grade book. And so you know that you put those extra hours in trying to help them study for that math test. All right, so you want to see what grade they got, etc. So you will be able to follow along and see the grade. It will help you then, again, if you then need to reach out to the teacher is reaching out to you. Remember, the teachers here, they are teaching 75 to 100 students. Not that they're not going to keep in touch with you, but we're asking that you keep in touch. Thus, if you feel something is not to your liking as far as, you know, that slip, that D, you can call right away. The teacher may sit there and say, well, they're that B student all the time. You know, they slip. Maybe they weren't feeling well today. You know, there's no need necessarily to reach out because I got to reach out over here because these 4 students are continuing to slip. But if you feel that you need to reach out, but that's where your advantage is with Genesis. The virtual backpack, as you know, the webpage there, definitely follow our headlines, virtual backpack. The school calendar is on there, the homework center. I will go over the agenda book. They are getting an agenda book. The teachers do, one of the first things when the students come in, while the teachers are still monitoring that hallway, is the teachers already have the homework listed on the board. So the kids know to come in, sit down, write their homework down, so that by the time the teacher comes in, class can start. There's no waste of time or anything along those lines. And for you as the parents, the daily bulletin is also up there. So you can always see. Our daily bulletin, what I read to the students is page 1. I believe that daily bulletin can be 7 to 8 pages long. All right, because the lunches are on there. Upcoming activities are on there. Notes to parents are on there. Sporting events are on there. Everything is on there, all right? What I read in the morning, or hopefully get more students to read, is just the one thing. Instant alert. You have to keep your phone numbers updated, not only for Genesis, but for instant alert. Because this, I will tell you here and now, I rarely use instant alert. It is truly only going for emergencies, bus updates. Maybe you will get the instant alert to say, you know, have to get the, I'll go over that in a minute too, your immunizations in, whatever it may be. But I am not using it as daily. One, we don't hold pajama nights. We don't hold trunk or treats. We don't hold that. So I don't need to send out them. All right? The bus announcements, we have to. All right? But again, you are only getting it. I am not putting it out to all 900 parents to say that FM 15 is running late. My secretaries sit down at the beginning of the year and they make a list for each bus. So if FM 15 is running late, only FM 15 parents are getting the notice that FM 15 is running late. All right? So honestly, if your child is now in middle school and you see 538-9800 come up, all right, or the instant alert, Honeywell instant alert, you pretty much maybe want to pick it up because, as I said, I am not making those phones, I am not making that instant alert for every minute. All right, it is not a means of communication for me. I would rather use the headlines. I would rather use the daily bulletin. Honestly, I'd rather use your children because this is part of us building the responsibility in them. I'm not naive. I know that things are going to get lost in that book. I know that things are going to get lost in that brain. But if we don't try it with them, they're never going to learn. They're never going to learn. So some of that is on them. This is big for you guys. The attendance. At elementary school, your note sitting there saying, please excuse Johnny, he was out with a cold, is considered an excused absence. That does not happen here. All right? By state law, 16 absences is what a child is allowed from secondary level. We are considered a secondary level school. 16 unauthorized absences they are allowed before they lose credit for that year. Right? Honestly, we've had students have to repeat a grade level because of too many absences. All right? The reason I say this is different, and I'm trying to get it out here now, is because you are used to just putting that note in and that being okay, and that's authorized. The only thing that authorizes here at the middle school, Dr. Dennis. That's authorized. Funeral, yes, we will take that, etc. You know. But honestly, the reason it's 16, don't panic, don't freak. Right? We're only in school 10 months. Right? You're basically saying twice a month. We know you're not going to run to the doctor or to the hospital for every little sniffle or every little whatever. All right? But if something's going on 2 or 3 days, we would like to think that they're getting to the doctor or whatever, then they become authorized. If you keep them home for that little sniffle because you don't want it to go into anything big, sure, send them in with your note, just realize it's unauthorized, and they can have up to 16 unauthorized. Even if they have 16 authorized, 16 unauthorized, they've been absent 32 days, they're still good. They're still good. All right? I think it freaks and panics people. Tardy, the same thing. Mr. Dwyer told you the time. I don't know if our tardies in the beginning of the year are because of you or because of them. No, I'm only teasing you. But it is earlier that they have to be here. They need to be in their seats at 8:25. All right? So the bus is getting them here on time. All right? If you're dropping them off, you're coming onto the circle. The buses are on the long drive in the back. All right? The reason we talk about tardies is because they can eventually equal absences. No big deal because it's not going to happen. All right? Contact the school. We're going to give you a pamphlet. There's all the key numbers. You will most likely, for those absences, we do want you to call in to our, where is she, 3106, the attendance office. We have a secretary that just deals with the attendance. All right? You can call in because what we will do is by 10 o'clock, I believe it is, she will then, 9:30, she will send out an instant alert to anyone that is absent that we have not received the phone call. So you as a parent can sit there on the machine saying, Johnny's not going to be in today, I'm keeping him home for a cold. You know, Mary's not going to be in today, I'm taking her to the doctor, she'll be in tomorrow with a note. That's fine. She is marking that down. They will still be on the absentee list for all of the teachers to see, but now the instant alert doesn't need to go to you because we know you've called it in. The instant alert is only going to those parents of students that did not call in. All right? And that way it's kind of a double balance check system. Did your child walk out the door that morning telling you they were getting to the bus stop? Hopefully they're here, and hopefully, not that I want my teachers to be wrong, but maybe they were down in guidance with Miss Cinderella, didn't make it to homeroom, and we didn't communicate too well, and it's a mistake or whatever it may be. All right? But those are the numbers that you will need. Fisher Parent Association, you met Mrs. McConnell outside today. She's our FPA, Fisher Parent Association. There's a lot that they are doing. A lot of what they do is really to try and raise money for each grade level to be able to do one certain type of event each year. The money travels with the children through the years so that at each grade level there can be a culminating trip. That trip has been to Adventureland, that trip has been to Spirit of Philadelphia, that trip has been a whole bunch of different things. All right? 6th grade, sometimes it's more a social after school and pizza party. 7th grade, they usually walk to the Ewing Community Center and have a day at the pool with food and refreshments, etc. And then they still have money left over to travel with them as 8th graders. Right? There's a wonderful pasta dinner coming up. Numerous wonderful donations have come in for gift baskets. So I would suggest they do. You don't have to just come in and sit and eat. You can order takeout, etc. So again, it's a great way though to get yourself involved here. All right. Things to remember. All right. We've thrown a lot at you tonight. Channel 19 will keep replaying it at some point. So if you don't have, we all have open door policies, open phone, phone. We will answer any questions you have. Again, your children are going to be coming through as well. I'm sure there's going to be more questions after they come through. But some of the key things, we will not mail the team letters as far as what team your child is on until about the 3rd week in August. All right, so I know they're going to get antsy, they're going to get whatever. I'm telling you here and now, not until the 3rd, about 3.5 weeks in, they will get that. On that will be supplies. We are going to send home, hopefully, the elementaries will send it home with their final report card, a general supply list. All right, so that come June, you already have a general supply list of what is needed, and then a tad more specific when you get the team letter. We have done that because we have heard that all the good sales are done by the time the team letter comes. All right, so we have worked with my team leaders and such to be able to get a general supply list out. So majority of your supplies can be bought in June, July, or when all those lovely Target, Walmart, Kmart sales are going on. I fully understand. And then tad more specific at the end there. I cannot stress enough immunizations. I know it sounds ridiculous. As a building principal, I have to stand here and talk to you about immunizations. Your child will not be able to sit behind their desk day one. Your child will not be able to sit behind their desk day one if we don't have the immunizations. 3 years ago, 100 students sent home on day one. 100 students. 2 years ago, about 60. Last year, we're better. We're down to about 25. I hate for any child that has been waiting, anticipating, whether it's good anticipation or nervous anticipation, to have their parent called to be sent home because we don't have it. This is health code requirement. Not Ms. Brower's rules, not Mr. Dwyer's rules, not Mr. Nitty's rules, not Board President Messina's rules. No. We have to follow this. The only reason I'm even spending time speaking about it is because of what I just told you. 100 kids, 60 kids, 25 kids. That's not right. That's not fair. If they are going to be 11, they need it. Again, I'm going to send home a reminder with the elementary report cards doing that. So while you're talking about getting your physical for them for sports, get the TDAP and the Menatra done. All right? If they are not 11, see, I've learned way too much about this. If they are not 11, they need to come in first day with an appointment card, a copy of an appointment card for the nurse. The nurse will accept that. They can stay knowing that they are not 11 yet, or that you're getting it scheduled, etc. Again, I can't stress it enough. Fall sports we've already talked about, and yes, your child's going to have a wonderful year here at Fisher Middle School, and you, as the parent, are going to have a wonderful year here at Fisher Middle School. Now, I just want to show you real quick, from our webpage, this would be the homework center. So all you are doing is clicking on your child's team, and their homework is coming up. Now you can see, even the homework pages are giving you some general information, yearbooks are on sale, etc. And then every teacher, now don't get upset. I just chose the wrong team. Okay, rewind. They are in park testing. That is why they have none. Okay? They are in park testing. But just so that I can prove to you, hopefully. Let's see. Let's go. Let's try a 7th grade team. All right. Again, note section. And you can see each teacher there is listed. They actually, even sometimes, because of either the humanities or the honors, they may list it differently per block, as far as what they need to do. All right, so this is what you can print out before you leave from work and test your child on the homework. All right, so that is there, and etc. So I totally chose chose the wrong team for all right, whatever it may be. But there's plenty across there, you know, there's, you know, our mission statement again that we had up there, talks about the guidance department, our SOAR program, our activities are up there, district homepage, parents and students, you know, our homework center, our brochures, all of that is all along there. So this is your main place to be able to see. There's all the headlines that we talk about. All right, so you can see everything when you go on, and then everything is listed along here, all your links. All right, between you signing up for Genesis to watch the grades, going on to the Fisher Middle School website, there really isn't anything that you shouldn't know about as far as when tryouts are coming, when clubs are running, all of that kind